Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Okay, we got 19 people in here. I don't see no comments. Y'all need to speak. When y'all come in, just say hello. All right? Don't be disrespectful, okay? Say hello. I don't have any comments. Let's see. Anyway, okay, we still not speaking? Okay. Okay. I see. Rosemary, you're always the first one. I love you, Rosemary. Hello. Flawed Tea and Talk. Hey Ash, fresh of surgery, tuning in. You're fresh out of surgery? Girl, what? Oh my goodness. I hope you're okay. Flawed Tea. Um, I have to send you a message after the stream. Real Housewife of Brooklyn. Hello, Stevie Reeves, Edna Daniel, Salathia Wakefield, Sierra Riley. Hey, cousin, how you doing? Sandra Morton, Ella Smith, Debbie Snap. Hey, Debbie, that's my favorite white girl. Y'all, she already claimed her spot. I'm blessed. Hey, Sonia James, Sonia Brown, Rochelle Ware, Andrea Jones, my spiritual sister. Hello. La Rochelle Thompson, Antoinette Curtis, Hakeem. Hey, Hakeem. Hakeem, thank you so much for the Cash App. I got your Cash App. Thank you so much for your donation to my channel. Rhonda Walker. Rosemary says she's excited about this topic tonight. I am too, y'all. Pam Alford, D Dallas, just being me. Hello, everyone. I am so excited to have y'all here today. We are. Wait a second. Where'd my video go? Okay. So, guys, let's get. Wait, hold on. Flawed Tea and Talk had, but God, kidney cancer and got it removed. I'll be talking about it, my journey on Friday's pod. Oh my God, Flawed Tea, I did not know that. Wow. Ooh, I'm so glad that you had a successful surgery. Y'all send thoughts and prayers her way. Also, y'all subscribe to her channel. Y'all, it's so funny how we met. We met on Facebook. I met her in the comment section, y'all. She left a comment where she spoke nothing but the truth. Okay. I had to send this girl a message, and she was on my stream that I did a few weeks ago. Gotta have you back on, Miss Flawed T. Winetta Sanders, Cheryl Davis says, hello, how are you from Santa Ana, Costa Rica? Welcome, Cheryl. So guys, saw a video, saw a clip. How many of you guys have seen the Braxton Family Value Show? It's a show, it comes on WeTV, and it's a reality show about the Braxton sisters. What we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to talk about the mother of the Braxton sisters. There's something that I want us to see. I want us to use as a teaching lesson. I just want to give a disclaimer though. This is not to bash her in any way. So y'all try to keep it just try to keep it respectful in the comments. You guys that are just coming over from Facebook, I already said it there, but we want to be respectful because as younger women, it's easy for us to like sit up on our high horse and judge the women of the past, the older women. A lot of them did not do things the right way, but we're in a fortunate position to where we don't have to make those same mistakes. We can learn from their mistakes. So when I play this clip, I want you guys to know it's not to be disrespectful because people can be really harsh. And y'all, this is somebody's mom, but we're going to talk about her behavior towards their father. For a lot of you who have seen Braxton Family Values, the TV show, you should know that their father left them and married another woman and started a new family. And of course, that was really hurtful for them, hard for them to recover from. And but we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it because that can happen to any one of us, and it's not, everything is not all the man's fault. You know, in a lot of cases, both play their role. And sometimes the woman plays a bigger role and the husband kind of reacts to that role that she played. So, you know, we want to handle our marriages delicately. And like I said, we're in a fortunate position because we get to learn from other people's mistakes. We don't have to, you know, make the same mistakes that they made. Yes, Flawed Tea and Talk says always respectful. Never want to bash women, only want them to take accountability. Women empowerment. See, that's true women empowerment to me. You know, when we empower women to take accountability, that's real growth. You know, because we want to grow, we want to get better, but we can't grow and get better if we're not honest with other women and if we're not honest with ourselves and we're not willing to, you know, take the accountability. You can't grow, guys, without accountability. You can't grow without telling very hard truths. I'm talking about the hard truth that really hurts, that hurts feelings, hard truth that hurts your feelings, the feelings of other women, you know. Sometimes we got to break it down to put it back together. So, we got 81 people in here. Thank you guys so much for joining. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the video. Y'all bear with me. And guys, I'm going to be dropping the stream link as well, because I want some of you guys to come up and just to get your thoughts toward the end of the stream. But for now, let's go ahead and play the video.
We're supposed to meet our dad at this restaurant since he pulled a no-show last time.
Who's sitting here?
You? So we decided not to tell Mom he's coming.
1 second. Can you guys just put a 1 in the chat if you can hear the video? I just want to make sure you guys can hear before I start playing the whole video. Just to let you guys know, they're setting up a lunch with their parents. The mom doesn't know that the dad's coming, so it's going to be a bit of an ambush. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear the video. Okay, everyone put a 1. Hey, Miss Ty, how you doing? Okay, y'all, so let's get started.
We're supposed to meet our dad at this restaurant since he pulled a no-show last time.
Who's sitting here?
You? So we decided not to tell Mom he's coming, just in case he ditches us again.
Let's get you guys something to drink.
Give me some Patron. Just need a little bit of Jesus juice.
You got a lot on your mind?
Hallelujah.
My sisters have been working really hard on my dad coming to visit, and I'm cool with it. I'm just not ready for the emotional drama that's going to accompany that. It never goes well when my mom and my dad come together.
What kind of stuff do you have for kids?
Like chicken fingers?
Sure.
Guys, I'm so hungry.
Are you hungry, Mom? I know you hate Mexican food.
I'm just going to have a salad.
Daddy blew us off the last time we tried to get together. He better not do that again, because I done flew my ass way cross country to see him twice. And if he don't show up this time, I'm going to know something.
I nearly fell out of my chair when I saw my ex-husband walking through the door. Actually, I was a little pissed off because no one informed me, no one told me that he would be there. I'm trying to get to a point in my life where I'm really speaking to my father. I love him, but we're just not the same as we used to be.
I need an extra shot in it.
Good, you look fabulous, Daddy.
Look how much weight you lost.
Yes, my dad and your granddad.
This man have not taken the time to call his kids or even come see about his kids. And so therefore, his grandkids does not even know him.
I want to stop it right there. I want to tell y'all something that a man told me. He too left his family. Him and his wife were going through a divorce. What he told me was that she was going around, his ex-wife, soon to be ex-wife, was going around saying the same thing. He don't call his kids. He don't come and see his kids. He's just abandoned his kids. And he told me that from a man's point of view, if for some men, depending on how bad the woman is, if seeing and talking to his kids means having to deal with you, meaning you're a wall that I have to break down and fight through every time just to have a 2-minute conversation with my child, a lot of men will cut their losses. And this is the side of the story that women won't tell you. They'll just tell you, oh, he just abandoned us. He's not coming around to see his kids. But what they're not telling you how difficult they're making it for the men to see their kids. Think about how many times a man would have to see his kids, like how many visits with you, how many phone calls with you he would have to have just to say hello to his kids. And if he's got to deal with negative energy every time, it's much easier for a man to cut his losses. And ladies, I wouldn't be so judgmental, because a lot of us, or most, I would say 99% of us, have not been in the man's position when you have to be the visitor to your kids. A lot of us don't know what that's like. Some of us know what it feels like to be the single mom and allow him as the visitor, but you've never actually been the visitor. A part of this growth journey that we're on is we want to look at things from the man's perspective to empathize with how they've been made to feel, instead of hyper focusing on their reaction to our actions. So now that came from a man, guys, that it's difficult to remain in your child's life when you have a bitter, angry woman that is causing trouble for you every time you decide to see your kids. So now there are some men who just abandon their kids just because they don't want to be a part of their life and it didn't have anything to do with the mom. I'm not talking about those men. They do exist. But what I'm saying is when you hear about stories like this, and you heard Miss Evelyn Braxton and her side of the story, don't just take that check to the bank and cash it, okay? That's not the full story. It's not the full story. And women, we have to watch ourselves when we do this too. Sometimes we give our emotional version of the story. And a lot of times it's inaccurate, it's distorted. Some of it's just outright lies, and we have to control that. There have been times where I've gotten so emotional telling my side of the story that I had to learn to just cut it off and say, you know what? I don't think my side of the story is going to be as accurate. I'm angry. I'm sad. And to be honest, there's some parts that I'm not even remembering. So I'm going to just keep it to myself. I just started doing that within the last year. That's the work I'm doing on myself. Okay. Because what I realize is that when I give an inaccurate version of the story, it's not fair to the other person involved, because for the person that I'm telling the story to, it distorts their view of the other person. And it's not accurate. Sometimes it's best to not even tell your side of the story if deep down it's coming from a hurt emotional place. So okay. What Pam Alford says is because of the woman. Miss Ty says she's still holding on to it. Yes, she is. When he walked in the room, y'all, he spoke to her. What'd she do? Put her hand. Now that could have been editing. Okay. Maybe it was editing, but you can't say that she didn't speak to her. Rochelle Ware says in this instance, it doesn't apply. He has adult children. Can you elaborate on that? I don't understand. Rhonda Walker says, my husband went through the same thing. Very, 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 very bitter, his ex-wife. Yes, y'all, this is very, very common. Ms. Ty said it's not the full story. Facts. Yes. Rochelle Ware says when there's a divorce, children take sides, and they tend to take the side of the parent that they're with. In a lot of cases, they end up with the mother. So they end up taking their mother's side. But Cece, okay, this is my cousin, y'all. She said, yes, we have to be self-aware and honest enough with ourselves when giving our side of the story. Yes, Sierra. Okay, y'all, let's get back into the video.
He's a stranger, for God's sakes.
I'm your grandson and you're my granddad.
Like you didn't know.
No,
How you doing, Miss E?
Great. How are you?
Fantastic.
Good to go.
When I see my mom and dad and how cold they are to each other with just a hi, I know it's not going to go well.
Okay, come on now, Tony. Come on, Tony. Your dad said out of his mouth, "Hey, how you doing, Miss E?" And he was light when he said it. It's your mom. See, this is how bad it is with us women. You know what? I'm gonna rewind it. I'm rewinding it because we're gonna see. I want y'all to pay close attention to the exchange, what her dad said to her mom and how her mom responded. And then I want you to listen to Tony's side of what happened. Let's take it back a little bit.
They are to each other with just
Great. How are
My granddad.
Pay attention, y'all.
No.
How you doing, Miss E?
Great. How are you?
Fantastic.
Good to go.
He spoke, first of all, y'all, he spoke when he walked in, right? And then she put her hand up. Then he speaks again to her and says, "How you doing, Miss E?" with a smile on her face. And she's the one with the, funny acting response. But how does Tony respond? Y'all listen to Tony's side of it.
when I see my mom and dad and how cold they are to each other with just a hi, I know it's not going to go well. It's not going to be a good night.
Tony, what did your dad do wrong? Did I miss it? Are you guys saying that? Hey, Flawed T and Talk. She says, "I have so much to say about this already." Y'all, I'm gonna drop the stream link. Flawed T, Miss Tide, if y'all can come up, please do. I would love to get y'all's perspective on this. But did I miss something? Do we need to see that again? Because to me, the way he said, "How you doing, Miss E?" To me, like as a woman that's not bitter, my response is going to be more like, "Man, I can't complain, man. How you been doing? And you have been losing weight. What's going on? How's the family?" Like that, the way he asked her, "How you doing, Miss E?" That opened the door to a very warm conversation where they could have caught up. But she's the one who just cut it short. But what is so important is Tony, her daughter's perspective on that exchange. She said they were both cold. Sometimes, y'all, we're so in love with our mothers, and it's unhealthy to where we can't even make our mothers take accountability. A daughter who has a healthy balanced view of both parents could see that for what it was. Like, come on, Mom, come on. Not cool. Why you being like that, Mom? But Tony threw them both in the same category because she probably didn't want to upset her mom. But the truth is, Tony, it was your mama. Your dad hadn't done anything wrong so far. See. Rochelle Ware says he could have a relationship with his daughters that's not facilitated by Evelyn. They are adults. That's true to a degree, guys. If the children are small, so if they're not like legal adults yet, especially this is back in the day when kids didn't have their own cell phones, men had to go through their exes to get to the kids. And that's a barrier that's a lot of fighting in your lifetime, constantly having to fight through that barrier, especially if you think about the amount of times that you want to contact your kids. Some men want to call their kids every day. You mean I have to deal with your negative energy every single day? Now, if they're grown, that's different, but even sometimes when they're grown, sometimes there's so much bad blood from the divorce that some men don't know where to start. And then they're already so caught up with their other families. He done found another woman, or he done married the woman that he cheated on you with, and now they're raising their kids together. And the cold hard truth is, man, some men, they forget about their other families, that the first family they created. You move on with your life because it's hard to maintain two families. I'm not saying it's right, y'all. But when a man and a woman divorce, this is what happens. The woman gets stuck with the kids and the man tends to move on. Now, Sierra said it's not fair because she was blindsided. She's still bitter though, y'all. She's still bitter, but she was blindsided. Let's see, D Mason, how you doing? He says Miss Evelyn upset because he was her forever and she isn't over the situation. She needs to seek counseling or really read her Bible for some better understanding for her spiritual healing. Absolutely. So y'all, okay, let's get back into the video.
I just need you to take a picture of the kids playing with daddy. I was watching how the grandkids were interacting with my dad, because of course they don't see him that often. And mommy was pissed off.
Okay, Mom, I'm glad I'm saved, because I would say some choice words.
I think it's very difficult for my mom to see anyone gravitating towards my father. I think she feels like he relinquished his rights to those family moments when he left.
Hey, Dad. Can Daddy sit right here real quick?
I don't care. That's next to you. Sure, Daddy.
Daddy. What about me? Can you sit right here with me? I got a couple Christian questions I need to ask you and Mommy at the same time. If you're married to somebody for 35 years, you would have to be good friends at some point. So I just want to know where my mom and dad's friendship ended. I just want to know really honestly. And Mommy.
What?
What's the signs of a friendship, like, diminishing?
Well, I think when I felt that the friendship was over, I found out the man was cheating when people were staying out.
Well, you speaking about yourself too, because that's the same way you is.
We all know why the marriage ended. I don't know why Tamar is asking such a stupid question, and of course it sets mommy off.
You have to
Call
say
all time of night.
yes, you did.
Claim they're going, that's a lot. They know better than that. Claim they've been on the yacht playing golf. What? They're playing golf all right. That's when I know. When I found out about this other woman, I was devastated. I was married to my ex-husband over 30 years. I had to say, see ya.
What about you, Papa?
That's because people live in their fantasy world.
I don't think people are living in the fantasy world.
Oh, I just want to point out, do you guys see how everyone's just talking over him? It's like, why is he there? You guys, y'all want answers? I'm here. He stood y'all up the first time. I think that's what they were saying. They tried to meet with him before and he ended up standing them up. Okay, y'all, now I'm here. And as you can see, like it's almost difficult to make out what he's saying because you hear these birds chirping while he's talking, just, you don't even have the respect. Okay, y'all are upset, angry, y'all want answers. Let's be quiet. Let's listen to him. Anyway, y'all just try your best to focus on what he's saying.
Coming in, laying in your bed, screwing in your bed. That is not a fantasy world. That's for real.
I don't know.
By the way, Mom, come on, that's a little tacky. Come on, like, I think are the grandkids still at the table? It's just some things. I mean, even because I understand her girls are grown, even the way she's speaking, it's like her energy. It's like you can see why a man would leave in that situation. Because if this is what he had to deal with, can y'all imagine like this, her whole aura is just really, it's just, I'm trying to watch my words. It's just like, it's nasty. It makes you uncomfortable. She doesn't have a warm and welcoming spirit. Slow to speak, quick to listen. She's just running off at the mouth and she won't even let him talk. So yes, we can empathize with women, but we have to be able to empathize with men. Why? Wives and future wives? Because for us who are married, if we want successful relationships, we have to empathize with our husbands. We have to put ourselves in his shoes so that we can better understand his feelings. And that takes listening, being quiet, shutting your mouth. and really listening to his words. And for future wives, take notes. This is not the way to go. Men have to feel and they have to be heard. What you see going on right now, women, his daughters, his ex just talking over him. Like, as a man, I would just like, yo, I can just leave. How about if I just leave? You know, y'all are grown. What happened is in the past. I have another family. You know, he can just leave because nobody owes you anything. He doesn't even really owe you this, you know? You guys are grown now. This is what therapy is for. There are a lot of people who never got closure from their absent fathers, and they just had to move on with life. So all that to say, give the man some respect. Just let him talk. Let him talk. Miss Ty, what you talking about? She said, baby, I got the true tea on it. You always got the tea. Miss Ty's always got the tea. Okay, you got to come up and let us know what it is, Miss Ty. Cheryl Davis says, if they wanted to see the dad, they should have arranged a dinner, luncheon among themselves, not involve the mother at all. That's very true. Why is she there? Sierra said, I blame the kids. That's messy, especially the one, I think that's Tamar at the end of the table. She's really messy and seems to be, I don't know her. I'm just going based off of what I see. It seems to be really drama filled, messy. This is really, you know, the whole thing is tacky. Andrea Jones says this is a very difficult conversation that should be discussed in private, not in front of grandkids and a public restaurant. Agreed. D. Mason said this should have been worked out in private and not in front of the children. Tamar could have asked the question individually. Thank you, Cammie Shernock. That's gonna come soon. Be patient. Hey, Mr. He said. Rosemary said, if I were him, I would have politely excused myself. Yes. You and me both. Okay, y'all, let's get back into the video.
You're a liar. And you a dirty liar.
The nerve of him calling mommy a dirty liar, and he's the one who's been lying about his mistress.
Excuse me, ma'am. You don't, here's the thing. Women, we can love our mothers without assuming their innocence. You don't know what your mom did in her marriage, okay? When you were 10, you don't know, you do not have the details of the mistakes that your mom made in her marriage. For all you know, your mom could have had 3 affairs in her marriage. Your mom could have told 36 lies during the duration of being married to your father. And you're going to sit here and say, how dare you call my mama a dirty lie when you're the one? Well, what if she is a dirty lie? How do you know she's not a dirty lie? You don't know anything. You know, older people used to tell us this is grown folks' business for a reason, because there are things that us younger people don't understand. And we were just supposed to stay up out of their business. There's a lot you don't understand. There's a lot of history there. Even with my parents, there's a lot there that I don't know, you know? And as I get older and I go through some of life's problems, every now and then they'll share a little bit with me. And what do I never knew that. Dad, what? That happened, you know? And I came to the realization there's a lot of that I don't know that went on. And you can't believe some of the stuff. Man, if your parents opened up to you about some stuff, you would say, wow, you know? So I don't know which sister this is here that just said this, but your mom could be a dirty lie. It is possible because you don't know everything. Okay. So it tells me you're willing to believe. I'm willing to believe my father is a lie, but I'm not willing to believe that my mom is a lie. You spent too much time with your mom, ma'am. Okay, let's get back into it.
For years.
You think you had the perfect marriage, but you didn't have the perfect marriage.
How did she think she was perfect, Dad?
Because everything she said she thought was right.
Pitiful lie, too.
And as long as you agree with her, she's fine. And it's the same thing with y'all. If y'all don't agree with her, she is pissed. And it's time for y'all to stop letting your mother run your life.
That's what
I have to see the exact thing.
It's time for y'all to stop letting your mother run your life.
How dare he try to tell me how to raise my kids after he have abandoned us? He has some nerve.
Y'all have lives to live yourself, and she can't run her life, her home, and your home too.
You know what? Had you been home long enough to help me to raise them, it wouldn't be such a problem. But where were you?
What
Out
did
there
you do?
hanging in the street,
What did you do
doing
all
whatever
day?
you were
What
big
did you
enough
do
to do.
all day long?
What did you do?
What did you
and
do?
what did you do?
If the
Hang
children
out
did
in the
that,
street.
I
And
provide
what
a
did you
living for
tell
all
me?
of my children.
Now, I don't know if y'all caught that, but he asked her, what did you do all day long? Okay. Now, he's pointing out some things, y'all, that are not being acknowledged. This man is not being heard here. He is not being heard. They're talking over him. Meanwhile, you got your ex at the end of the table blabbing out all this, all of y'all's business of the past, you know, being tacky. And the girl's like, oh my God, Dad, you did that. You did. But when he says that she lives in a fantasy world thinking her marriage is perfect, no one bats an eye, right? No one says, Mom, did you live in a fantasy world? Did you think you're married? Right? And then he just asked her, what did you do? What do you do all day? What did you do all day? You know, sounds like he's insinuating, because I provided a living for my kids, what did you do? You know, I don't know if he was insinuating that she stayed at home with the girls and she wasn't taking care of her home. But this is what I'm saying. It's like he's trying to express himself, and the girls have everyone has their ears turned off to what he's saying. It's kind of like they just, you know, they just brought him here to just like beat up on him. You know, why is he doesn't even need to be here. You guys could have did this by yourself if y'all aren't going to listen to him. Hey, Sir Hale. Sir Hale speaks. Hey, thank you for joining. Flaw T says she took care of her kids all day. He was the provider. Now, Flaw T, and if you come up, maybe you can explain. He asked her, what did you do all day? And to me, it sounds like he's trying to say something without saying it. So she might have been a stay-at-home mom, or she might have been a stay-at-home mom, but maybe she just didn't do well with the home. He doesn't go into detail either. But my point is with him saying that, nobody stopping to question, well, Mom, what is he talking about, Mom? About what she didn't do what all day? What didn't she do? Mom, answers. What's Dad, what you talking? You know, no one's really interested in what he's saying. It's really a shame. Okay, let's get back into it.
Okay, I'm gonna say one thing. I'm the oldest child. I've been my parents the longest. I think that Daddy doesn't like Mommy.
He didn't, Tony. And we can see why. We can see why he didn't like her. Okay? Men are simple, ladies. It's hard for a man to not like a woman who's feminine, who's submissive, who's kind, loving, truly her husband's helper, supportive of her husband. It is hard for a man to not like a woman like that. So the mother is not taking accountability, and Tony isn't, you know, you'll put your father on Front Street and say, well, it seems like you really didn't like her, but you're not going into detail as to the things that you've seen and why you think he didn't like her. Tell the whole thing. Why didn't he like her? Why? What is the reason? Well, see, when you don't like somebody, there's a reason why you don't like them. You know, even it's funny where I pause this video. I mean, just look at her face. It's just it's angry, y'all. It's who would want to come home to this every day? Y'all, he done moved on. He left them high and dry and moved on. Who in here knows that song by Betty Wright? It's called The Cleanup Woman. Cleanup woman is a woman who gets all the lovely girls sleep. Who remembers that? Cleanup woman, that was about the woman who would come and take your man when you wasn't doing your job. So your man left you for the cleanup woman because she cleaned up your mess. She came around, started doing things that you weren't doing when you were neglecting your man or your husband. So Miss Wanda, the woman that he left her for, that was a cleanup woman. Y'all Google that song after this stream too. I love that song. Betty Wright, Cleanup Woman. Okay, let's get back into it.
And he hasn't for a while.
He hasn't for a long time. Absolutely, possibly no reason y'all shouldn't have been friends. There's no way, because I got kids now. I get it.
I agree with you.
I'm going through a separation, so I get it. It's like y'all should be friends, but you handle it wrong.
You're going to hell for everything.
Oh, okay. She said there's no reason why y'all shouldn't have been friends. And then she goes on to say, you handled it wrong. Why can't it be you both handled it wrong, right? Because I don't condone a man leaving. I understand why men leave. There's a difference. I don't condone it. I just understand it. But you have to, even as a grown woman, you have to grasp the fact that women do things to push their men out of the house. If they're not happy at home, they'll go elsewhere, you know? So what's wrong, Tony, with saying both of you guys handled it the wrong way? And mom, you need to own up to what you did, because you're making dad own up to what he did, but you're not owning up to your part. You both did wrong. But she can't even do that. She faces her dad and she says, you handled it wrong. You were wrong. You. And you see how he tried to cut in and talk. She won't even, won't even let him talk. And Miss Evelyn just sentenced him to hell as if, she's God or something. How do we know that like, are you an angel? You're telling him that that God is going to punish him as if you're an angel. No accountability. Sierra said the key was when he said everything is good when you tell her yes, but when you tell her no, all heck breaks loose. No man is going to stay for that. Very true. Very true. Rosemary Dean says, I remember Cleanup Woman. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's get into the video.
Oh my gosh.
After my parents got divorced, my father married a woman named Wanda just 30 days after my parents' divorce.
Miss Wanda, y'all, he married the Cleanup Woman 30 days after. So this is the woman he was messing around with. This is the woman who curbed the heart attack from happening. If it wasn't for Miss Wanda, he would have died of a heart attack dealing with Miss Evelyn, y'all. Miss Wanda probably say, I'm sorry, y'all. Look, we all go through things. Men go through things too. Men go through things. Even the Bible talks about how bad a nagging wife is to a husband. It's difficult. When he comes home, he don't want to deal with that. Before, I just called all men dogs too. If you slept with somebody and you married, you a dog. But now now I get how it happens now. Whereas before I didn't get it. Y'all, let me let the video play through. I keep interrupting.
30 days.
Why did you really get married? Yeah. Because you were lonely?
Now, don't feel that I didn't have any feelings for Miss Wanda, because I did.
It's about time he acknowledged the feelings that he had for this woman while we were married, and especially in front of the kids.
I was lonely.
I never heard you say that.
I didn't have my children around to support me and be with me.
Daddy, you didn't want us around.
But I was very disappointed in my dad when my parents divorced, because when he got his new wife, he forgot about us. He loves us, but he forgot about us. He forgot that we were still part of his family.
Now, just want to point out, I'm disappointed in him, not my mom, right? Mom appears to be innocent because dad leaves us. So if we're, if dad leaves us on an island stranded, he's going to appear to be the bad guy. And your mom's going to appear to be the victim along with you and your sisters. But even now, as a grown woman, she's still focused on him. You're not a little girl anymore. When you grow up, We're supposed to acquire wisdom and we're supposed to see things differently. When you're 16, 17 years old, there are things that you don't understand. I don't understand because I have a child's brain. But when you grow up and you mature, you're supposed to get more wise and you're supposed to be able to understand things better. But even at this age, she's still hyper focusing on dad, dad, dad.
If I could go back and change things, I would have handled things.
Don't do that. Don't say that. I don't want him to tell us he would do things differently when he really wouldn't have.
How do you know that, ma'am? How do you know? You don't even know what you're talking about. Why is he, y'all, why is he here? Why is he here? What's the point of being here? He gets interrupted, daggone near every time he talks. When he shows an ounce of remorse, like, hey guys, if I could have done things differently, I would. No, you wouldn't. If you're not going to believe me, man, I could be with my other wife right now. I could be with her right now. Why am I even here? That's what I would say as a man. Look, we're grown. We're all grown, y'all. We're all grown. He's not the one who needs the closure, guys. His ex, his daughters, y'all are the ones seeking this closure, not him. This man moved on a long time ago. He don't even have to talk. Man, I've heard of men that move on and they just never talk to their first wife and kids like ever again. I've heard of that happening. And, here he is and he's trying to give answers and, okay, y'all. Sorry.
The still end result would have been, we're still in divorce.
You didn't divorce me, I divorced you. Remember? Yeah, you still would have, because I was tired of you running around and doing what you was big enough to do. And no, I wouldn't stay married to that.
I never knew that.
Your mommy filed.
Mother filed.
I filed.
You didn't want a divorce?
She did. I asked to go to marriage counseling.
We went to marriage counsel. You sit there and cry because the woman told you had to stop seeing the woman. And you were wearing the woman's ring.
This whole thing.
Y'all, he was in love with her. The man cried in therapy. Imagine you and your husband going to therapy, y'all having problems in your marriage. There's another woman. The therapist tells your husband, you gotta stop seeing that woman if you want your marriage to get better. Ladies, imagine your husband crying over another woman in therapy. That's painful. You don't know pain. That's painful. Watching your husband cry over another woman. Men don't just really think about that for a second. What that tells me is that he was getting a lot of good things out of this woman. He probably had a really close friendship with her. The sex was probably good. Deep conversations, man, I wish I would have met you first. This is the 1 ounce of peace that I'm getting in my life right now. This is my only source of peace as a man in my life, is this other woman I'm having an affair with. And the therapist is telling me that I have to let go of the only peace that I have. Oh, I'm crying. Lord, just take me, That says a lot. That is not to be glossed over. I can acknowledge both feeling, the pain. The wife is feeling the pain because no woman wants to watch her husband cry over another woman, because as a woman, we want to feel loved and deeply cherished as women. So to watch your husband, he don't really love or cherish you, but he's crying over another woman. Every woman desires a man that if he ever had to leave her, it'd be so painful, it would bring him to tears. That is deep. And to watch your husband do that over another woman, that is like, that's a knife. That would be a knife through my heart. But like I said, I can acknowledge his pain too. This is my one and only source of peace, you know? So there's some really deep pain happening in that moment. As the wife though, as painful, ooh, I've known another couple that went through the same thing. And, you know, when it was time for him to let the other woman go, he had a very hard time. This was not just, when that happens, it's not just a piece of booty, y'all. There is a real emotional connection that these men develop with these women, because usually men, they can just have sex and be done. Prostitutes, they can have sex with her, leave the money on the table, that's it. If a man cries because he has to leave you, there was a lot more there. But as a wife, if your man developed that kind of connection with another woman because he wasn't getting it from you, as hard as it might be, and I can really empathize, I'm a woman, I cannot imagine my husband crying over another woman. That would hurt me so bad. But you have to take accountability in your part that you played in it. You were mean. You were not welcoming. You made the home a very unhappy home. He said on another show that he didn't even want to come home. He didn't want to even come in the house. That's how bad she was. So yeah, you're watching your husband cry over another woman, but you have to take accountability, and that I did not create a space where my husband could come in, feel loved, have hot, warm food, a warm smile, warm caress, great sex, wonderful supporter. I didn't give that to him. So he had to go get it from somebody else. Now he up in here crying because he got to let her go. Everybody played a part. It's not just dad. It's the mom too. Ooh, look, y'all, Miss Ty and Flawed T, they're like, drop the link right now. Girl, they about to choke me in the chat. Okay, y'all, let me, hold on, let me copy. I'm still an amateur at StreamYard, y'all. Okay. All right, guys, I'm putting the link in the chat now. Don't kill me. Okay, y'all, just put the link in the chat for y'all to join. Okay, let's get back into the video.
Like, with you and mommy, like, not getting along is so much beyond y'all little itty-bitty feelings.
There got to come a time in your life you said, listen, I got to put some things aside, because what it was is what it was, and what it is what it is. And you don't talk about the hurting things. Let's talk about the things.
You can't say that.
Wait, no. Because if you have a sore and you keep hitting on that sore, it's going to continue to hurt.
But if there is a sore, if you take care of the sore, if you take care of that sore, you can put the right medicine on it for it to heal.
A sore? Please. This man ripped my heart out.
Let me stop right now. I'm going to ask y'all, what will heal that? No. Y'all know. Y'all say you got to do this. What will heal?
I'm real sorry. Have you ever apologized?
Have I ever?
Yes.
Yes, I have.
No, he has not.
Oh,
Lord, that's a line.
But Daddy, that's her opinion.
I know. That's her
Gotta respect that. But she's supposed to let you have it, Daddy. It was the first time y'all seen each other.
Okay. That's it. Stop. I apologize to you.
You know what? I know I'm the one who wanted my parents to resolve their issues. But really, that is the lamest apology I have ever heard.
Just get up and leave, sir. They don't care. No one cares. No one cares. They're not listening to you. They don't care about anything that you're saying. They don't care. Y'all, I'm frozen right now. I don't know if I'm frozen on y'all's end. Hope my computer don't shut down again. Okay, I'm back. But yeah, they're not listening. Okay, Flawed T and Talk. Hey girl, how you doing?
I am doing. Oh, I'm in the hospital, but I'm doing okay. I'm doing
Oh, you're
okay.
still in the hospital.
Yeah, I am in here.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
And you're feeling okay?
yeah. I'm doing good. I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
I hope the video ain't causing you more stress, girl. You about to burn up in them comments. Like, what do you think? What are your thoughts so far?
Dang, I have quite a few, but I'm not gonna
Hmm.
do all that. Um, Going back to the bitter part, because I saw a lot of bitter comments calling her bitter, and I just wanted to say that, and you got to hear me clear when I say it.
Hmm.
It's okay to be bitter. It's just better to be wiser, because we cannot judge her for holding whatever feeling she's holding over their marriage. And then there's the difference between being, a bad husband who cheated on his wife and then a father. That's one thing women need to separate, because you can
Yeah.
do a bad thing as a husband, but that doesn't necessarily mean you did a bad thing towards your kids. I have never seen, and I've watched this show since the onset, since the launch of it, and I've never heard him say that she kept his children away. He made a
Hmm.
decision, like you said earlier, like your friend said, that some people might make it so hard to see their children that they just leave altogether. I agree with that to a certain extent, and then I don't, because nothing should take you away from your children. I don't care. I'm a little different when it comes to that, because you have a responsibility to your children, especially because that's separate from your wife. It's totally separate. Those are two different relationships. At the end of the day, those children that's your blood. And she's super, super bitter as well, because he owed a responsibility to God first, because he was a pastor, a minister in the church, and he cheated. Whatever she did, you leave. You don't cheat. You never get a pass for cheating. She can own her responsibility as far as not being a wife or giving him what she needs or he needs or whatever. But I don't think there's ever an excuse for you to step out on your wife. Now, you can leave your wife, but for me, there's never an excuse to step out on your wife or your husband. Oh, I can't hear you. I think I lost you. Can you guys hear me? I can't hear you, Ash, if you're talking. I hope it's not just me.
I'm sorry, y'all. I was on mute the whole time. Sorry. So I was saying that I pinned Hakeem's comment. He's saying nothing. I'm asking you because you said nothing should keep a man from seeing his kids. Um, so Hakeem, he's a guy. So I don't think he agrees. I'm a little. I'm more open minded to both sides because I also shared your perspective before I started getting, the man side of it. That yeah, nothing should keep a man from his kids. I mean that because it sounds good, right? But what I was saying earlier was that women haven't been in the position where they are the visitors. Women are typically the receivers in that situation, meaning they receive the visitor, which is the father, and they get to kind of make the rules, and the game is kind of really in their hands. The power is in their hands. And so because I had to acknowledge, I don't know what that feels like to have to get in a boxing ring every time I have to see my children. It's not right for me to just assume, yeah, nothing should stop. Because I've seen some things. There's some things on YouTube, and I've seen some videos of some baby mamas that have, like, as I'm watching the video, like it like enrages me. Like it just boils my blood, the games that they play. To the point where I'm saying, man, I don't see how men do it. I couldn't do it. I'm so glad I'm not a man, because if this was me,
Okay,
I'm
well, we have to further dig, because we don't know. First of all, how old were they when they got a divorce? Because fast forward, they're grown now.
right.
They were grown when they turned 18. or I'm gonna even give it 21, because sometimes 18 you still live with your parents, whatever the case. But as adult children, it's okay for these adult children to also be bitter. They can't get wiser until the bitterness is resolved, until that trauma that they experienced is resolved.
Right.
In my opinion.
No, and I
And then it's not
understand that.
mentally healthy to be just walking around carrying things, but it's understandable, especially daughters in the love of their father. That's a whole different ballpark there.
Right.
And they shouldn't have ambushed neither one of these parents, neither one of the one parent, especially if you know that but this is TV. So this is what creates the ratings. So of course they're
Mm,
going to put them in this situation. Your mama not over this. So
right.
they shouldn't have done that. This was
Yeah.
totally the grown kids' fault for ratings. That's what this was
That's
about.
what I said. The whole thing was tacky from beginning to end. Chris Blue says family, court, child support, hustle, false charges, lies, jealousy, pookie boyfriends. These things cause friction. So, when you start talking to men about this, because the reason that I came to that same conclusion you were at about nothing should come between a man and his kids. I don't care. You just keep fighting, right? I'm just saying that it's easy for women to say that because we haven't been in that position where we have had to fight to see our kids in family court. And then even when the dust settles and you have the court order, the arrangement, you're not on the visiting end, you're on the receiving end. And so I can make life, as a woman, I can make life very difficult for my child's father because I'm bitter. And then he'd have messed around and then he'd have moved on with another woman. And don't let them start a family together. All those feelings, they are if I don't deal with that, it's going to show up in my relationship with my children's father. And I've seen a lot of women play games. I have friends to where their exes have played like, I know the nature of a woman in this situation. So that's why I had to pull back and say, you know what? I think I changed my mind on the whole nothing should keep a man from his child, because there was someone who told me that I left the state of Texas. I left my kids and my ex-wife in the state of Texas and I moved on with my life. Why did I do that? He's like, because I would have killed her. I would have ended her life. That's how bad it got. That's how many games that she was playing. I have stories that he told me of how he had him in and out of court, thrown in jail over child support. He had a big tote of Western Union receipts, old receipts that he kept because he always sent her money, and she still threw him on child support, still spreading lies about him, lying to his children about him, making it hard for him anytime he just wanted to have a phone conversation with him. It gets to a point to where men are not robots. They're humans just like us. They have feelings just like us, and sometimes it's only so much you can take before you break. And I
get that. I can agree with that. But if we're going to take that premise, then it needs to be across the board, because I've seen a man fight for a woman. There was nothing that woman can do to keep him away from her, so we got to choose our fights. That's a whole nother show. But I get that, though. I do get where you get fed up. But I've seen a lot of men put more effort into other things, fighting for other things. But when it comes to their children, that part's too stressful. Because I've seen men go to the extremes over a woman, fighting to get a woman back, fighting to see a woman.
When they're fighting for a woman, what's in the middle of them getting to the woman?
Oh, it could be another relationship that she's in. Or fighting. Oh, you mean like obviously the only fight would be fighting her to get back to her?
Yeah. I mean, because with the kids, they have a guardian.
Barrier.
Right. I've heard stories of women even like not answering their phone or, picking up the phone, cussing them out, hanging up the phone when their kids are on the phone with their dad. And maybe their dad says something they don't agree with. They'll take the phone, they'll hang up. Like, when you're pursuing a woman and she's playing hard to get and you're in the chase as a man, there's not a guardian in the way blocking your calls, ending your calls.
Yeah. But we just got to do the backstory, because I don't know if this was their story. I don't know if this was the Braxton story. I don't know if he had to go to the extremes with her. Do you know Lipstick Vibes?
Child. Okay.
Miss Ty,
Hi,
what you think?
y'all.
Hey.
Okay, so uh I know these people.
You know them?
Yes.
You know
Yeah.
everybody. You like the mayor.
Well, you know I'm here in Maryland, and we went to the same churches and stuff. So I know a whole lot. Okay, so let's get this in. So if you remember in the video, he kept saying, "And what did you do?" And when she kept saying you cheated, and he kept trying to get her to say what she did, they both were cheating. So just so you all know in the chat, they both cheated. That's why.
Okay, well then she need to shut up. If she was doing it too, then she need to shut up. She's totally discredited. That brings a whole new light to
why he kept
So, yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
That's why he kept saying. So what was you doing? See, that's the part that was never being acknowledged. That's why he kept saying that. So let me say this. And so for those of you who don't know, I'm a PK, I'm a preacher's kid, pastor kid. So I know a lot of things and I see a lot of things. One thing that a lot of times when you have a first lady or a woman that's like really into the church, they lose sense of being a wife to their husband and become a wife to the church. Y'all, does that make sense to you? You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but the pastors do too. They become a pastor to the church.
We're not talking about that right now. We're addressing
okay,
her.
okay.
So so his before he even got into this other thing, the foundation of the problems were already beginning, and it got worse. And one thing my mom always told me: don't ever neglect your man because Susie Q is watching, and she's waiting for the opportunity to be that one that was the cleanup woman on the side.
Yes.
So it is important. So what lesson you can learn from this right here, right now, is don't ever leave your husband in a space of wanting or needing. Don't ever leave them in that. You can't leave your husband in a space of wanting and needing, because just like High Value was saying, men have needs and emotions and feelings too.
So are we saying it's okay to, if that happens?
I can't wait a minute, I couldn't hear you. What'd you say, Sweetheart?
So are we saying if it happens, it's okay to cheat?
It wasn't just him that was cheating. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So she wasn't giving it to him, but she was giving it to somebody. Oh yeah, I don't. Yeah,
that's what I said the first time. That's why he kept trying to say to get her to say, "What was you doing?"
Who did it first? Lipstick.
Huh?
Who did it first?
Well, the grapevine said she did, but then other people say he did. So look, they both were doing it. And
That's
the problem
crazy.
The problem here is when he that part when she said he started crying because the lady told him to leave the woman alone. That's not why he started crying.
Your mic is a little fuzzy, Miss Ty.
That wasn't the. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
That wasn't the reason why he started crying. And I put that in the chat. That's half truth. As y'all can see her demeanor, how combative and mean, and so that's her 24/7, and sometimes even worse.
Oh my gosh! Why he get married to her, Miss Ty? What did he? I said, I wonder why did he marry her? That's like who she's been.
Shotgun wedding.
Oh, she was pregnant. Oh, okay. Okay.
So he impregnated a woman with traits he didn't like. Interesting.
So I would say to you, a lot of times women pretend to be something that they're not just to get the man. And then when they get the ring, the true colors come out.
Mm.
So let's put a point there.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
And
Do you know how long they were dating?
and sometimes you have to understand. Like my dad was talking to the ladies on the on my panel. You never know nobody. You will forever be learning that person because you will
Right.
forever be changing and
Yeah.
evolving, and children and ministry and jobs and this change people.
Yeah.
So we would never know why she became um angry and bitter during, you know, the early years, but it has a lot to do with church stuff. That's the only thing I can tell you. It had a lot to do with church stuff. Church stuff. And that's something that I'm gonna be talking about on my panel. Let me tell y'all something. Church, yeah. That church life can, yeah. It can either strengthen your marriage or it can break your marriage if you let it.
Down. If you do it the wrong way. Yes, ma'am.
Now the thing with the girls is the fact that they were with her, and you see how she's doing at the table. This is what they've been hearing all their life. They never got to hear his side. They only heard her spewing, he did this and he did that and he did this but they never heard what she did. Wow. So then it had nothing to do with him not even wanting to be with, because I know a couple of times Tawana would say she chose not to deal with her father because of her mother. She didn't want to hurt her mother. That's why she didn't want to deal with her father, because they didn't want to hurt her. So it's like we were saying in the chat, it's a big snowball of stuff, and everybody don't know everything. You're only seeing clips right here, and when they was on Iyanla, only saw clips from there. When it was you only saw a little bit of the story. You would never know the full story, but it's more layers to this than, oh, he cheated and he left the family. No, that's not what happened.
And
do the children know?
They know now. They know now.
And they still never acknowledge it on TV.
Yes, they have.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And I don't watch the show, so I wouldn't know. But that's what I was saying in the
no,
beginning.
it wasn't on their. It wasn't on their show. They did an interview with who it was. I think it was on, who does the Sunday Soul thing. Is that Oprah?
Oh yeah, Super Soul Sunday.
Yeah. It was a conversation they had on there. So
okay. Yeah, but that's what I was saying when the daughters were jumping in and saying, you know, how dare you call my mom a dirty lie? And I'm like, you don't even know.
They took her side. Just imagine, you're 10 years old, 10, 11, 13, 14, and all you hearing is your mom telling you all these bad things about your dad. He don't love you. You see, he don't do this, and he did this to me, and he did to me, and look at this. Look, you growing up hearing this constantly.
Mother's brainwashing you.
It's indoctrinated them. It is embedded in them to hate their father. We see, we see it all the time out in the community, on YouTube.
So, real quick, I want to get B9 in here. B9, how you doing?
I am great. How are you ladies doing today?
Doing well. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. What do you think?
I know, right? Me too.
As much as I love you, High Value, as much as I love you, Red Lipstick, I must admit, it's Miss Flawed Tea and Talk that sparked me to come up today, because I find it quite interesting how we are dissecting him. And I don't mind the dissection of him, but I noticed that it's a one-sided dissection. Even when it was brought to light that the mom was cheating and doing things outside of the marriage, it didn't quite seem to get the same microscope.
Yes, it did. I said she lost all credibility, so she needs to shut up.
Right. And then you ask who cheated first, as if
That
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 matters.
I asked because I did. I was just curious. I'm not holding her less accountable for anything. If she cheated, she's dead wrong, and she is a dirty liar. Is that better?
There's nothing wrong. Let me be clear. There's nothing wrong. You're entitled to your own opinion and your own view. Let me be clear with that. I just find it peculiar and was making an observation how he is getting dissected. And let's say that she didn't cheat. Let's say that she was a complete faithful wife to him. Does that mean that she was a good wife?
If she didn't, well, none of us know if she was a good night, but besides lipstick.
But we're
She
going on.
has the inside details. We didn't have the inside details.
But we're
So if she didn't cheat,
scenario. We're going to go off of my hypothetical scenario that she did not cheat.
okay,
Does that make her or any other wife that does not cheat? Does that make them a good wife?
it makes her a better wife than he is a husband. If he stepped out and physically went with another woman, yes, it
That,
does make a difference to me.
I didn't ask it to make a difference to you. I didn't ask it to make her better than the husband. I asked by her not cheating on the husband, does that automatically make her a good wife?
No, I don't think it makes her a good wife. I think it makes her a wife that didn't cheat on her husband and a husband that did cheat on his wife.
Right, but do
There's
you?
never an excuse to cheat. My overall general consensus on that is there's never, when you're married. Now, if you're not dating and living with, that's different to me because technically you're still single. Now, it might be immoral to do it, but if you are married in a covenant with someone, there is never an excuse in my eyes to cheat on
So
any level.
so hypothetically speaking,
Okay.
I beat your ass and me and you are married. Are you still going to
No
be
cussing,
faithful
B9.
to me?
No cussing, B9.
Okay.
My
If
Kevin Samuels.
if I if I got into and I would be, of course I'm dead wrong, but I got into a physical altercation with you, Miss T, and you were my wife, and neither one of us are cheating. Does that require that you still have to be faithful to me?
Yes, you leave.
So
I'm not taking physical. I'm not taking physical abuse. So that's my breaking point. But to everybody, their choice.
no,
Um,
I agree
yeah,
with that completely. But until our divorce is final and until everything is done,
I'm not gonna say divorce final. The divorce doesn't have to be final. If you taken steps to leave your wife, if you filed a divorce, or if you legally separated and you guys are no longer in the home, you can do what you want to do. Now, this is just my opinion, so I don't want everybody to think anything else. If
okay.
you are actively living in the home and you are married and you have not filed for a divorce or filed for a legal separation, I feel you are wrong if you cheat.
So the second you file the paperwork, then you're allowed to cheat.
You can't be living in the house.
So you file the paperwork, you leave, then you can cheat.
I don't consider it necessarily, technically it is cheating because you're still married, but you get a pass in my eyes. You're no longer in the home with that woman or that man, and you're taking the steps to end the marriage.
No, I'm just asking. Like I said, there's no right or wrong answer here. I was just asking just to get your view on it. And my overall view on it, though, is that we're talking about the Braxtons. And the fruit never really falls far from the tree. So I find it shocking in the first place that we're even godsmacked over the mom being brought into question anyway. Ratchetness does not just come out of thin air. Another factor that I'd like to bring up is that We're talking about today's times. They're talking about a time where divorce, especially if you are in the church, was very much frowned upon. And once you got married, you stayed married. Now, you
Yeah, that's
did
dysfunctional.
well, but grandma and granddad were in very dysfunctional marriages, yet they
Yeah,
celebrated their 50th anniversary.
yeah, you're right. Doesn't
So,
make it less dysfunctional.
well, but we have to grow up. There's no such
Okay.
thing as functional in today's world. Everybody has their own flaws, their own dysfunctions. But the problem is, and this is what showed the most in the video, the problem was that we all make mistakes, but
Right.
if we're accountable, we can get over those mistakes. When
Well,
there's
cheating to me isn't a mistake.
when there's no accountability, then that's what leads to the cheating. That's what leads to the wrongdoing. You don't just wake up and say, "Hey, I'm going to cheat on my wife." No, you have a conversation with your wife, then she ignores you. Then you have
Okay.
another conversation, then she ignores you. Then
Okay.
you have another conversation, and then you realize I'm literally beating a dead horse.
Okay.
I'm wasting my time, energy, effort on a dead horse. I'm smarter than that.
Are
And on
you?
top of it, I am a high value man because I'm a Black minister in a time where this is a very prestigious job. I'm involved in community service things. I'm involved in civil rights things. I'm involved in making sure people's rents are paid, people's things are taken. So you better believe that they want me. That's why all the husbands get mad at the minister. Like, you better get the hell away from my wife, or you better stop looking at him like that. So, but once again, we're not really living in reality. And like I said, I understand you're entitled to your opinion, but your opinions at some point need to match with reality if
What?
we're all adults here, because
What's not reality? I'm a little lost on that because all the things you listed was every reason why he shouldn't have cheated.
okay, everything that what's not reality is that you believe that cheating is not a part of marriage, and reality shows that cheating is 75% of every marriage.
That doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it unrealistic, sir.
No. But once again, we can talk till the cows come home about right or wrong. We have to meet right in the middle with wrong so that we can change these wrongs to right. Being polar at one end while the other people are being polar at the other end, we can't even hear each other or have a conversation. So we have to at least meet in the middle with reality. And then once we have a basis of reality, then we can say, okay, how can we skew this reality to be more correct or a little more appeasing to the eye? But just having
No.
this unicorn vision of
That's
what
not unicorn. That's not unicorn. That's your opinion. That's
no,
not I believe in a covenant of marriage.
it's
A
fact.
covenant of marriage is a reality. Everything else outside of that, when you do something to disgrace that, that's not the reality. Just because it's happening does not mean that it's right or less. I don't. A unit. Come on now. Just because that's us conforming to the world because it's going on. That's in the Bible. You don't conform. You stand on what's right.
Of course.
Marriages are covenants, period. It doesn't matter what led up to him cheating or not. You have a responsibility as a man, a pastor, a leader, a community leader. If your relationship or your marriage is not working, then you need to take the necessary steps to exit it and go do what you do.
Okay, so once again, if it doesn't matter and we're married and I beat your behind, then why are you going to leave me? You just said it
Because
doesn't matter.
physical, okay, because I got physically abused.
It doesn't matter. So it does matter. Stop double talking.
What do you mean stop double talking?
You just
How am
said
I
that
double
it doesn't
talking?
matter that you don't do certain things in a marriage or cheat or do things for any reason.
And I'm still saying the
Just
same
giving you
thing.
a very valid reason why what you said is idealistic, but not realistic.
If he beat your tail, you still don't have a right to cheat. I said that from the jump. So I'm lost. And I'm saying it now. If anybody cheats, you're wrong, regardless of the situations. Now, I said leave because if it was me, that's my last straw. It's my first and last straw. You hit me, you gone. I'm not gonna cheat. Oh, he hit me, so I'm about to go find me another dude while I'm still married. And I'm in the church, and I'm a first lady. Come on, it's all dysfunction. They both crazy. They both crazy.
And they both had multiple children that were attached to them. So it
So
wasn't just.
what? So what? That's an excuse for staying in dysfunction. I ain't buying that. So your children can grow up seeing it. That's the reason why they like they are now. All of them got issues in their relationships outside of what Tony, and she still had a tumultuous relationships. So come on now, that's generational curses right there. Generational curses.
Realistic. There's no realism, and in that, I'm not saying that you're not right. I wish we lived in your
You
world.
did. You said it was a unicorn, and it's not a unicorn. You the unicorn.
I wished I lived in a world where unicorns were real. I promise you, I really do. I wish I could live in your world. Unfortunately, I live in a world where horses do not have cones sticking out of their foreheads, nor do they have Pegasus wings. So the reality of what's going on is not matching with what you're saying it should be. And I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying that they're so polar that they're never going to meet in the middle. So it's ultimately a waste of time because you're not.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion. Because I'm coming from a saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled standpoint.
What do you think?
If that's unicorn, then that's unicorn.
Where do you think Reverend Braxton was coming from?
The devil. He let the devil come in, just like she let the devil come in.
From the devil.
Both of them. Sitting up preaching the word and sleeping with other people. That's sick.
So, and once again, I'm not saying that I disagree with you. I agree with that. But everything we watch on the news is sick. Is that all we say? Is that's wrong?
Yeah, I do. Yes, it is. It is.
Or are we actually taking steps to change things? Are we
and that's what I do. I think that's what the young lady who's hosting this does.
To prove things, you must first truly understand things so that you can have a conversation with the people that you're trying to change. You can't just go and say, hey, that's wrong, and you shouldn't have done it. And you ain't nothing because of it. That's not going to create anything. The reality of it is that accountability, even though the man was wrong, he did take accountability. She was wrong and she took no accountability. Yet we're spending all this time, just like the Braxton daughters, trying to persecute and crucify him when he's actually been the only one from a Christian standpoint that's showing repentance.
Yeah. And I want to say something to
yeah, that's facts right there, Bina.
I share your beliefs, Taquana, on cheating, but I think that we, like I said before, we have to understand it from the man's point of view, because we're quick to say nothing should keep a man from his children, and no matter what, a man shouldn't cheat. I feel like we're holding men to these really, really high standards, and they have to weather the storm while meeting those standards. So even if she didn't cheat, look at the type of person that she is. Like, we have no idea what it's like to be a man in that situation, to go out and work and provide for a family so your wife can stay home. That's a lot on your back, especially back in those times. I mean, I think there was still a little racism going on too. He had mental things that he had to deal with every day. So to have to come in the house, and who knows if their marriage was back, who knows if he was even getting any sex. So in that type of situation, to just say that you should just never cheat no matter what, I don't agree with cheating, but at the same time, we have to put ourselves in the man's shoes, and we have to understand, first of all, when it comes to the act of sex, we don't even know, we know what arousal feels like for a woman. We don't know what it feels like to be aroused as a man. It's different, you know, and to have to go to bed on that, to go a month, 2 months, 3 months, when men have testosterone, you know, they tend to have a higher sex drive than women, to not have
And
that.
in high value, in their case, he went years without.
Are you okay? See,
So why
you
did
know,
he stay? So he stayed because of the position he held.
No, he
And
stayed. He said he stayed because of his children, but he couldn't take it anymore.
well, I don't
yeah,
understand why they just didn't verbally agree to have an open relationship. I guess
but
that's unrealistic to say that, but
yeah, because they're in the church.
Not back in them days. You had them conversations.
yeah, you don't. Yeah, those are taboo for real.
Then it goes back to what you were saying, that no matter what, like there's no excuse for a man to cheat. And what Miss Ty just said was that it's been years. So say that's true. You know, that's, some men would say that's daggone near impossible. Women don't empathize with the man's sexual needs because we look at sex from our perspective. For a lot of women struggle with libido. A lot of women don't want sex as often. So we can't truly grasp a man's sex drive and how it feels for their need to go unsatisfied, because we look at it from our perspective. So it's easy for us to say, no matter what, a man should never cheat. And even if I decide to not have sex with him for 3 months, 4 months, or years, he should still never cheat. This is a completely different species, you know, we're talking about. They are not the same as us. And so if we go,
so okay, so
say something before you guys said, and then I'm gonna shut up, let y'all go. I was having a conversation with my fiance last night. It was so interesting that you said that. And he explained to me that, you know, we as women, we think that, you know, the sex drive of a man is all about the physical. But he let me know that it's not even all physical. It's a lot of it is mental and emotional for men as well.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
And so then you have to look at from the standpoint of, look at how this man, first he's not getting the physical, and he's not even getting the emotional and mental peace coming home. Imagine coming home to fire, hell, and brimstone every day.
ooh,
and then you can't get your rocks off too.
Well, that's because she doing the same thing he doing.
I'm just saying.
So obviously, neither one of them were getting what they wanted because they both were cheating. So because she was cheating, he was cheating, and both of them weren't getting what they needed. So she hollering the brimstone and argumentative and doing all that, knowing she's sleeping with somebody.
And the thing is, like B9 said, I like when he ended it. It was all about the accountability part. He has always taken accountability for his part. Always. I know this for a fact.
And so she just lied on her, but she said he didn't.
She has never taken accountability for her part.
She's supposed to be in her role. Ain't no like going separate ways. Oh, you know, he cheating, I'm gonna do this. Miss Thang was not in her role. You know, she's supposed to be playing the support role. I mean, if we want to go biblical, let's go there. She's supposed to be submitting to her husband. She's supposed to have a deep respect for her husband. And so you have to ask yourself, when he started this affair with Miss Wanda, I mean, you know, was she playing her role, or was his sleeping around a result of her not being in her role? Thus, it caused a reaction.
There you go.
Right, and then she probably that's why it's important.
What I was
sometimes
saying.
we point more of a finger at the reaction versus the action that took place that caused the reaction, because we're quick to say, oh, he just shouldn't have cheated, he shouldn't have cheated, you know, but we don't look at the origin and what caused that. The woman was not
we didn't know it. We just found out she cheated. He probably cheated because she cheated. We don't even know who cheated first. So he does. Yeah, that's why I said it's dysfunctional all the way around. You threw me for a loop when you said she was cheating. She sounded like she was coming from a place that she was handling her business, and he stepped out and abandoned the kids.
And that's why he kept saying, so what was you doing? He wanted her to take accountability for what she was doing, but she will not, even to this day, she will not admit what she was doing.
It don't matter. If every time he had sex with her, he got her pregnant, And she's just like, we're not having sex no more because I'm tired of having kids. And he goes 2 years, 3 years, 5 years with a sexless marriage, but yet they're faithful to one another.
Right.
Now we're getting to the point I was originally making.
But did you know this information?
Stop thinking reactive and be proactive if you're going to assess the blame in this.
Right.
You have to be, you can't live in absolutes. I mean, living in off of, wow, you think, Flawed T, Martin Luther King, if what the FBI says is true, that means Martin Luther King is a piece of nothing and should be in hell. And this, what are we talking about here? Really?
He probably should. I don't know what you're saying. What are you saying?
I'm gonna go ahead and go on.
Yeah, please do.
All right, y'all. Let's read some comments. Says, men stay because of responsibility.
Exactly.
Now, Sir Hill, I think that's so true because they feel like, okay, the kids, they need me. They, so it's not as easy to just, as a man, to just leave. And plus, they know that they're going to have to go through the system just to be visitors to their kids. So sometimes, for the sake of remaining with their kids, they would rather betray the wife than leave the wife and really betray the kids, because once you leave the wife and the system gets involved or the wife cuts you off from seeing the kids, you almost now are in a position to betray your kids by moving on with your life. So now I have to choose. Do I choose to stay here with my kids and betray my wife to be with my kids? Or do I leave my wife and end up betraying my kids because I'm only getting a few weekends out of the month, or she makes it so difficult to where I just move on and just pay child support? So it's a really sticky situation for a man to be in. And I don't know if I was in that situation, these are things that women don't think about, but we just be running our mouths talking about, well, they just should do this. They're superhuman. They just hey, figure it out, be strong, be a man, and they're humans, it's not easy. So,
let me ask this question. Do you guys think that they both stayed for image because of the world, because of the titles that they held?
Yes. I can answer that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I know. Coming from that world, well, I'm still in, but I'm just saying, yeah, most of the time they stay in, loveless, sexless, crazy marriages just to show face because of who they are and their title and who, what they do.
They can't handle the shame that it would bring on the family.
Let's back then that was a no-no. Divorce? Yeah. What?
Right.
That was a no-no.
Let me read some other comments. Sir Hill says, also there is no excuse. There may be a reason. Reasons matter, even if it's not excusable. Same with men and women. Sometimes we end up maybe doing some things that are inexcusable, but there's a reason for it. Find out that woman shot her husband. It's like, oh my God, you shot your husband, but he was like coming at her with a knife. You know what I mean? Even though she ends up killing him, that reason why it matters, because sometimes it causes a reaction, and not to say that reaction is right, but what caused the reaction needs to be talked about. Let me see. Beverly Wiggins says, I blame both of them. They were the adults, and both of them should have sought counseling to explain it to the kids, because looking at this video, the marriage was already too foregone to save.
They tried counseling several times.
Hey, Primal Studies. Okay. All right, guys, let's finish this video out. We only have like a minute left.
Because Ashley gonna do ours.
I'm not saying I'm sorry. It's not just saying to say something. That was wrong right there. Doesn't it matter? That's why. That was wrong. And that was wrong right there.
Was Miss Wanda the only woman you were with?
No.
What y'all understand, Wanda was not always my lover. She was my friend.
You was over there to your woman house that you were running with for 10 long years.
I was kicking it for 10 years for real.
10 long years.
Are you serious?
10 years.
So you don't manipulate the children to accept your whatever she may be. So you don't speak to them for 8 years, but she was not. Don't you worry about what I got. Don't worry about it. I'm running that. Don't worry about it. But you know that you lay it low and spread it wide. You don't care who it is. What? Now, figure that out. I had enough of his lying, his cheating, and his crap. And you know what? I better get out of here, because if I don't, it will be 2 sad days. The day they bury him and my child.
You was doing it
At this point, it's pretty clear that the dinner was over, and we're all just pretty drained from all the drama.
Good hugs.
Sorry, I was on mute. All right, so that's the end of the video.
Bury him, baby. Okay.
I will say, I mean, he said it. He said that, you know, Miss Wanda was my friend. He wanted to emphasize that this was more, that this wasn't just some side chick. And you can tell that that made her heated, because she had that knife in her hand and she was doing all this, you know. But
yeah.
But isn't that how it always starts out, though? It starts out as that
he stayed with her. He stayed with her for 10 years.
You got to understand, again, like we were just talking about, you can't talk to your wife. Everything you say to your wife, she's, you know, you can't talk to her. Secretary, and you in the secretary in the office, and you got some things on your chest, you start talking to her, then she becomes your confidant, because you can't talk to your wife no more. Wife don't want to hear no more. Wife, you know.
No, I'm starting to think she was mad because you're cheating too, lady. I'm starting to think she was mad because he took it as far as leaving.
Right.
Bingo.
There you go. You got it.
She knew she was doing the same thing. I am really stuck on that. You got all that animosity and acting all like that in front of them, your children, your grandchildren, and the world, and you know doggone well y'all was both doing the same thing. So if knowing that, you're mad that he took it as far as leaving. That's what you're mad at. That's what she's mad at.
Yeah, and that another woman was pretty much chosen over her, and he,
right,
you know, you could
that's she's mad at that part too.
Anyways, guys, you know, ultimately, what I wanted women to take from this was that, you know, this is what happens, like, if you don't create that loving environment in your home. You know, when you start to neglect your marriage, it can cause other problems down the road. You know, there are consequences for your actions, and you can find yourself very bitter and very hurt, just like this woman. So it's not to bash her. Like, I don't want to, it's not to bash anybody, but this is just for educational purposes. You know, we use this as teaching lessons so that we can learn from other people's mistakes. So she made some mistakes. So now we can look at that and we can now apply that to our lives, and we can look at ourselves like, okay, well, let me assess myself. Let me make sure I'm doing things right. Could I be doing more of this? You know, could I be one thing I took looking at this, how all the women were just over talking him, like what he said, like it didn't matter. You know, nobody really took his word serious. He didn't get that respect. To me, you know, it makes me kind of look at myself like, okay, well, have I gotten to this? Do I do this a little bit? You know, when you're watching stuff like this, it shouldn't be just for entertainment to just point the finger and judge people. You need to be looking inside to make sure that you're not doing some of this. And if you are, then this is a moment where you could say to yourself, ooh, okay, I need to check myself. Okay, you know, I think I was just doing some of that last week. You know, so let's learn from this. And guys, we are over an hour, so I want to
I do it.
Yeah, no, I don't do them long streams.
Ashley is not about the long streams, baby.
So
quick though, Ashley. Like, I agree with what y'all saying about not trying to barbecue her and persecute her or whatever. But that whole show and that whole episode was about barbecuing him. That whole show and that whole episode was about throwing his feet under the fire. And and luckily we have the vantage point of a Miss Ty that can give us the inside scoop. If we didn't have that inside scoop, people would be going away from this chat talking about he's dead wrong and I hoped and he this and that and she's such a great person and blah 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 and yakety smacking. And it's just like and I'm glad we had the conversation, because through the conversation, even icons like Martin Luther King aren't protected under all of the good things that they do. If they make one mistake, they also are to burn in hell forever. And it's just like people don't realize when they say things like that. As a man, we hear, what is the point of doing anything? If I can't, I'm never going to be Martin Luther King. I'm never going to be able to touch as many lives as Martin Luther King. But so if someone that's greater than me is still just nothing just because, what are we working for here? Where's the motivation for a man in today's society to say, hey, I'm good enough, I can satisfy my mate, and I'm also a human being, so I'm going to make mistakes in the process, and they're going to make mistakes. We both need to forgive each other, but it's so funny that we're in this world now where it's just like a game show. Like, you broke the rule. I like you, but you lose. Mm-hmm. That's why we have the problems that we have now. That's why we have a 70% divorce rate in the Black marriage community. That's why you're going to have 3 different rings, because you're going to have 3 different husbands, because once the pheromones run out, the marriage is over. So we got to start rewiring our brain and stop dealing in all these absolutes, so that we can have these sisterhood parties, snapping our fingers and saying how bad this person was. Even your own family does it. They literally invited their dad to chop him up. Thanks. No wonder. I wonder why he didn't show up the last time. I wonder if he'll show up the next time. But that'll be his fault too, won't it?
No, I think we all agreed the kids set him up. We all agreed that. We all blamed the kids for putting these 2 parents in the same situation, knowing they weren't getting along. We said that in the beginning.
But he brought out a good point, because he did stand them up last time. But I didn't think about that. Like, you ever wonder why? Because when they say, oh, daddy stood us up, he didn't show up, we automatically assume, man, dang, you wasn't in their life. Then they try to meet up with you. You know, why would you stand them up? Like, what kind of father does that? But then you see what happens when he actually meets with them. And Benign, that's such a good point. Could he, because he knows how they are, maybe just changed his mind at the last minute?
That's absolutely why he said it. But we didn't know that. We were all of us on this panel and in the comments were going off of what we saw until we heard later on the inside scoop from Lipstick, and then we saw later. We all go by what we see initially. None of us know what's going on until we know what's going on. And when I found out she was cheating, I put the same rod on her. She's a dirty liar. She really made herself look crazy. And, my platform is about women empowerment. And my first tick on my motto is accountability. When you blame the woman for taking accountability, that is also showing love. Taking accountability and owning accountability is still showing love.
Very true. So, Twana, did you have any? Was that your closing thoughts, or did you want to say something?
that was closing.
Okay. And Miss Ty, closing thoughts.
Benign. Well, everybody said everything. I think what I would say to this, like, because I know a whole lot, that's, that, and so I can say this. Some of the things he was trying to say at the table, for us as wives and women that are, about to become wives, that we need to make sure that our husbands are not wanting and needing for anything. There should be nothing that you should put in front of them. I have seen women put their jobs in front of their husbands. They put their church, their pastors in front of their husbands. And even sometimes they put their children in front of their husbands. And they forget about who was there first before you have all the other stuff. And we have to understand that men have emotions too. They have emotional needs, spiritual needs, mental needs, and physical needs. And it is
my
our
said
job.
sometimes they put the parents in front of them too. He's just adding on to it. But go ahead.
Parents are right. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And sometimes you have to realize that you can't. You're not supposed to leave them lacking for any of that. That is a part of your job. And as my mom would say, that is a part of your ministry. Being a wife is a ministry. It's not a duty. I hate when they say that, your duty. No, it's a ministry. Because you're literally ministering to your family, your husband every day. Mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. You are ministering to them every day of your life.
And you're called to minister as well. So maybe some of these women ain't called, but they in these marriages. That's another story though.
That's a whole nother podcast, sis.
Yeah. You weren't called, sis.
You weren't
not a wife.
Exactly.
I'll just add to that, Ms. Ty, that having a husband, it is a responsibility for a woman too. You have a responsibility. You also have a responsibility for your kids. And when you don't fulfill your responsibility, bad things come of that. They can start getting in a lot of trouble if you aren't in your role as a parent. The same thing with the husband. He can also find himself in trouble if you're not in your role as a wife. So your husband, he kind of, needs your help in a sense. You can aid him in doing the right thing, just like you aid your children in doing the right thing. And if you weren't in your role, and something bad happens, as a parent, we take responsibility for our kids. You weren't the best mom, so you have to kind of acknowledge, man, I wasn't really there. I didn't do my part. But when it comes to that man, it's like, I wasn't doing my part, but you still just should have, you still should have sold water to a well. You should have made something, you should have just did the right thing. But with our kids, we'll give them all the benefit of the doubt, So give your husband just as much love and dedication as you do your children, because he can sense when you are loving and paying more attention to your children than him.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
actually, before you close, can I ask you a question before you close? So for you, because I know you're married, and we're talking about doing our parts and all that stuff, and we are absolutely supposed to, like I said, accountability, responsibility, and ministry. It's all this, it all folds in the same thing. If your husband cheated, what would you do?
I don't know.
In your current situation, in your current situation.
That's a really good question. And to be honest, I don't know.
Okay.
We share our foundation is the same. And we both believe in the Bible. There are things to consider, my daughter, I don't know, because there's a side of me that would want to leave because I would feel very hurt and betrayed. But then there's also a side of me that would look at myself, want to take accountability. I have to think about, my child. So it's a situation where I'd have to weigh some things. I don't know. Now, in the past, I would have been 100% sure. Oh, no, he cheats, I'm out. But since I've taken in new information, I'm still on the side of leaving, but I'm not 100% anymore. So I can't say definitely at this moment, oh, I'm out. The answer is, I don't know. because I don't.
And thank you for being transparent, because that's not everyone's breaking point. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And that's I respect you 1000% for saying that, because some women won't even say that. I don't know. Their first response, I'm leaving. Ain't no way. Most women, you
And
know
they
what I
be the
mean? So
ones
I
that
respect
stay.
you for that. I respect you for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
Miss
have
Todd,
one more thing I want to say to the video. Stop putting your children in your business. You see what happened at the table? Because the children, because they were in their business from the jump when they were little, knowing all these half truths and details from when they were little. Look what happened, and they carried it all the way until till they're adults. Keep your children out your business. That's my last thought.
Well, see, you can't keep your kids out your business when your mama is your friend. See, even though the dad didn't show
That's
up,
right.
Exactly. Come through, B9.
he was never their friend. He was never on their level.
That's right.
Exactly. Yep.
That's
right.
a very important point that we have to bring out in that, is that
Mm-hmm.
she was so lonely and so looking for love.
That's
She
right.
elevated her kids to
Mm-hmm.
best friend, to this is my travel buddies, these
Mm-hmm.
my hair done with, this is my whole world. And let me go back, be honest with you, she probably made them the whole world in the first place, which is why he probably dipped in the first place. And she really didn't care, because she had her whole world to spew all the evil she wanted about him for the rest of her life. Oh, every time he show up, y'all gonna know what a dirty piece of bicka blogger blue he was.
And she was the same
Now,
thing. I can't get over that.
keep in mind, back then they had a little singing group, and she was the manager.
Oh, see, Ty got all the
Yeah. Yeah.
But Claude, I want to say one last thing before High Values wraps it up. I love your name because you have Claude in it, which
Yes.
programs me that I have to already be in a apologetic mode or receiving apology. So you even have in your name basically that you're a human. So
Right.
I'm expecting you to give that same grace to others. And not saying that they're right, but just saying that you can at least understand so that we can have the conversation. And hopefully after the conversation, they'll agree with your point that you are right, because you left me out of it, but I'm going to answer anyway. I've been married for 21 years, but I'll leave my wife the second I find out she cheats on me. The second. So as much as we've argued, I just want you to know, I agree with you. We align on that point, believe it or not. I'm just willing to go deeper and not just be so black and white with the issue and make a person burn eternally for a mistake.
I don't want him to burn eternally. It wasn't a mistake he cheated though. Come on, now they both made decisions to cheat. That's not a mistake.
No, the mistake he made was marrying her. That was the mistake that he made.
That's what I said.
And he rectified that mistake the only way he knew how was to keep living his life.
Yeah.
Because as High Values pointed out earlier, when you push a man too far, there are dire consequences here. And just to the man himself, my dad has a slit from his neck all the way down to his belly button from quadruple bypass surgery. And I refuse to ever stress myself out over a woman to a point where I have to have any surgery because of her. Yeah. So we do what we have to do to cope is the point. And you have to walk in these shoes before you can judge how comfortable the shoes are.
And I have, trust me, I am flawed, but for a purpose. I got a story.
We all are. Look, we all are. And it was a pleasure meeting you. And like I said, I just wanted to end by letting you know I agreed with pretty much 95% of everything you said, even though we had a little zesty debate today.
It was a respectful one. I respect you. I respect you as a man first. Let me say that. And
Like,
then that's number one. And it was a healthy debate. No ill feelings, none of that. Very intelligent man. I can tell that from the little that you said. Well, the lot you said. You didn't say a little.
like,
I can tell.
So, y'all, I was gonna close it out, but my husband wanted to ask you, B9. He wants to know why.
man,
Say hi, baby.
that's my man right there. What's up, big dog?
How you doing, Mr. B9?
I'm wonderful. How you doing, sir?
I'm well.
You're blessed.
So I just I heard your reason. Excuse me. I heard your answer that you would leave with the very first second. I just wanted you to give some detail, if you don't mind, as to why. Why is your thought process immediately hard, fast, no, I'm out the door?
Because I know that she now has an attachment to someone else. Women aren't just into the little fling things. Women are very calculated in what they do. If they think that they can do something and get away with it, and they have that type of spirit, that's one thing. But as many years as I've known my wife, for her to step out on our marriage means that she actually would have feelings for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Know that it's way past just the sexual act or romantic time that has been spent together, which lets me know that I should have known about this. She should have communicated with me about this way before those events happened.
Amen.
Okay. He gave you the thumbs up. Okay, guys. Well, thank y'all so much for joining the panel. Y'all definitely, gave more perspective
Ashley,
and made
you
it
lit
better.
up when your husband started talking.
I know, right?
You was in love.
Okay. I'm
Let
still
me point
out.
That's right.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining. Thank you, Taquana, Miss Ty, B9. I'm gonna drop y'all down. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who stuck around. Rosemary Dean says, thank you everyone for your perspective. This was interesting. We can agree to disagree. I keep an open mind when I attend your platform. Thank you, Miss Rosemary Dean. Thank you so much for your support. Let's see. Chris Blue says Cashapp donated. The Manosphere definitely supports you. High Value Wives. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Chris Blue, for your donation to the platforms. Greatly appreciated. Rhonda Walker says, so don't put your husband in that situation where he would go and do wrong. Yes, Rhonda Walker, that's being proactive instead of reactive. As women, we have a responsibility. We have to do our part. Nobody's perfect. We're not going to do, our wifely duties perfectly. But, even if we fall down, we need to make sure that we're not staying down for a long period of time. We need to fight while we're in the marriage to do our best. Beverly Wiggins says, Ashley, I really enjoy your platform. Thank you, sister. Thank y'all. Okay, guys. Thank y'all for joining. Y'all stayed with me for almost 2 hours. Where we at? Hour, 58 minutes, almost 2 hours. Thank you, guys. I hope everyone has a good night. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. So the new time, guys, is 8 o'clock. It was 7. So every Tuesday here, join me for my show. Hope to see you guys next week. You guys have a wonderful night, and I will see you next time.